Very good evening, everyone. Charles here, Frgntforex.com, Frgnt Daily Chart Analysis, as well as Frgnt Mastery. Good evening. Time just approaching 10 minutes to 9 here in Milan, and the date I should know, Wednesday the 18th of February 2026. I'll try and keep this short and snappy. As I'm sure you can hear, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, and really the only place for me at this time is bed. However, I think it's quite important to highlight again just a grand example of what I preach, to be honest. As I say, as a trader, it's only your best interest to hone in on the skill in order to find those liquidity areas if you're trading smart money concepts. And that is, of course, by way of order block selection, having valid points of interest, and really understanding why your area is, in fact, a valid point of interest. What makes it valid? How are you going to validate that particular area in the market? Now, issue number one, many traders fail to understand the overall direction using higher time frame and top-down analysis. For me, I spent an awful lot of time perfecting that in order to, more often than not, be at least on the right side of the market. Now, once that skill is perfected, it's then down to two additional extra elements. What is your setup criteria? And once that is nailed, what is your entry criteria? So setup criteria is pretty fairly standard. And of course, in Frgnt Mastery, you will, or rather Frgntforex.com, which will then gain you access into Frgnt Mastery, will gain you access to myself, preaching pretty much every day that just because you have mastered the skill of understanding where you believe price may well go on that higher time frame, just because you have put in some pretty colors and validated some points of interest by way of order block, that does not give you the thumbs up nor green light to take a position in the Forex markets. Now, today, a grand example. Throughout Frgnt Mastery, of course, we had highlighted Euro US dollar longs. If I zoom out of all of these time frames and hopes that they're still as they should be, you will see we use the variation of higher time frame analysis to come to our order block selection, to come to validating specific areas in the market that we believe liquidity lies. But as I've just said previously, that does not give you the go-ahead to take a position from those areas. And that is why, although I fixate on my Frgnt daily chart analysis, of which are posted every day, even on the weekend when the markets are closed, you will find that I post my chart forecasts, my chart breakdowns. But I'm always advocating to the Frgnt Mastery members and those in the free community that just because you view these chart breakdowns, it is not enough for you to be profitable in the market. You need to have a fixed setup, in my opinion, a fixed entry criteria that leaves no reason for discretion. It only allows you to execute with confidence. So long as you are trading with confluence, you can trade with confidence, with the addition that you are managing your risk and you're not looking to smash home runs. The aim of the game here is consistency. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Now, I quite understand those of you that are looking to pass funded challenges. I get it. I was once there trading funded accounts. I was once there pursuing that dream of being a funded trader. Things change over time, and we won't get into that. However, back to the charts. Today, we were looking at Euro US dollar long. And as you can see, those 2 points of interest, in my opinion, did not provide the entry criteria. Now, if I were to simply say point of interest, let's look for a buy from that area, I'd be stopped out. If I were simply to suggest point of interest, buy from that area, I would indeed be stopped out. What you will see on this chart is my forecast of which I need to see in order for me to take a position. Now, of course, as I always say, if you can understand my chart analysis and you're trading it successfully, congratulations. But again, the standard terminology, if you do wish to recognize and understand and implement the intricacies of what is indeed required to be profitable over a long period of time, then Frgntforex.com giving you access to Frgnt Mastery is something that is very much so accessible. Please take a look. Now, nevertheless, as you'll see by my illustrations and what I've just said previously, these are fixed models of which I am awaiting for in order to take that trade. And that gives me the heads up to suggest, okay, if my points of interest are indeed points of interest and I'm expecting a reaction from them, what in particular am I actually looking for? It's not a 50-50, it's not maybe this, maybe that. It's fixed, it's on the chart, it's self-explanatory to myself and to those of you in Frgnt Mastery and even the free communities. You all understand, or by this time, if you are listening, you should be understanding what the illustrations mean, what this illustration means, what this means, what this means. They all have meanings, but for me personally, as a professional trader, they are my guides. I leave nothing to interpretation other than my own knowledge, my own skill, my own experiences trading these markets. That is the only thing I rely on in terms of my own knowledge. Everything else is fixed. Everything else is absolutely rigid. Now, what I can say, by having that fixed entry model, having that fixed routine, having the plan in place ahead of time, allowed me to avoid two potential losses in the market today on Euro US dollar. Now, in contrast, if I go to pound CAD, of which the trade was executed successfully, again, via valid points of interest, again, via, if I go to my Frgnt daily chart analysis, you will see a matter of hours ago, where are we? Pound CAD. 13 hours ago, the plan was very much so in place in terms of where am I looking. Now, the intricacies as a trader is not just where am I looking, it's now what am I looking for, since we are now live in the markets. Again, illustrations, potentially up, potentially price to push up into those areas, potentially not. If price doesn't follow my forecast, what's plan B? What's plan C, plan D? Does it fit the criteria? If it fits the criteria, then I rely upon my background knowledge as a professional trader using my experience. Does it fit? Is it a trade worth taking? Does it align with the DXY perhaps if I'm trading a US dollar cross pair? These are everything that I'm taking into consideration before looking to execute the trade. Now, what you will see is similar illustrations on this chart. And again, as I say, if you can work it out from my illustrations, then congratulations. If you wish to find out more, Frgntforex.com will gain you access into Frgnt Mastery, and indeed you can learn exactly how we take these types of positions, exactly what we are looking for, how to potentially avoid losses in the market. If I were to have taken these two positions simply by suggesting that my points of interest, I am definitely right and price is going to react from those areas and hit my take profit, then of course this pound CAD short would not have the financial meaning that it does. I would simply be making up for losses that I had incurred throughout the trading day. So just a short video there to give you the indication, I should say, that it's not all about your points of interest. It's about what it is, it's about where it is, it's about planning ahead, it's about forecasting. What if this happens? What if that doesn't happen? What if something well out of the ordinary happens? What if an unplanned news event happens and price completely smashes up or price rockets to the moon and pulls back? What am I going to do? There needs to be a plan in place, leaving no trade taken with discretion. It is all fixed. Your expectations are managed. You know exactly where to be putting your stop loss. You know exactly where to be putting your take profit. And most importantly, areas and entry criterias are what the focus remains on in Frgnt Mastery and FrgntForex.com. So thank you very much for your attention. As always, I appreciate the support across all platforms. And most certainly you will continue to hear from me on YouTube, TradingView, and all other social platforms. Until then, all the very best in your trading journey. I do wish you all the best. And just the parting gift is FrgntForex.com if you do wish to learn how, what, and particularly when to execute. Do take care. That's Charles. All the very best.